And so I really went to work. I started off as a wholesaler. I'd go to the RIAs. Edward Jones taught me how to network. And I would go to the local RIAs and I would ask the guy that's hosting the event, hey man, can you point out some of the players? And he's like, oh, the guys that are really doing real estate. And they're like, that guy, that guy, that guy. Well, guess who sat next to him? Corey. Yeah. Corey's like, hey, where do you like to buy? How much rehab? What's your typical deal look like? I'm like, oh, great. Well, I find deals like that all the time. Would you pay me a fee if I found you one? Well, yeah. Well, there we go. There's another client, check, right? And so I just started finding deals for people, wholesaling and making my $3,000 fee, but I was in the game. Then I realized that if I just had some money, I could do these fix and flips myself. And so I raised my first piece of private money by accident. It was a guy that I played racquetball, one of my old clients from Edward Jones, but he didn't have any money, extra money that I knew of. And I was asking him as a friend, hey, because he lived in a retirement community. And I was like, hey, listen, surely you know someone in that retirement community that wants to have their money working a little bit harder. I can give them a note and deed of trust. And here's kind of my record of what I'm doing because, I used all my guys' deals that they were fixing and flipping. They were my deals. I just never had the money to buy them. Mm-hmm. So I used that as my cred kit to show that I knew what I was doing. And so the next day he calls me up. He goes, hey, Corey, do you still want to do that 12%? And in the back of my mind, I was like, dude, Carl found somebody. And he's like, Corey, you don't know this, but my home's totally paid for. I can borrow money at 3%. You give me 12, I make a spread. How much money do you need? Now that was a big question. So I'm just like, what do I say? I'm like, I'm just gonna go for it. And I go, Carl, I need $85,000. And there was a slight pause. Yeah, okay, yeah. Where do you want me to send it? Just like that. And I raised my first piece of private money and my jaw dropped. And all I can equate it to is going into the phone booth as Clark Kent. And I spun around that son of a bitch and I was like, I raised private money! And it was the most surreal thing. And once because that broke, I grew up poor. Mm-hmm. And it broke every limiting belief I had ever had about money. Because in my family, when you had money, you spent it. You never had any savings. We were never rich. We never had money. But yet I'd learned about money, but this was the first time people had trusted me with their hard-earned money. And it was just liberating.